Dijonai Carrington is looking around the room like, oh my God, I've never been in this much fire. I mean, it's getting so bad that now her endorsements are potentially about to pull out on representing Dijonai Carrington.
This just goes to show that Dijonai has no self-awareness in what's going on. Dijonai Carrington runs on threads immediately. White privilege at Indiana Fever. White privilege. You running around with blonde hair. It looked like you trying to be white. It looked like you trying to be a white girl. What are you talking about white privilege? The white girl just got a technical foul for something she didn't even do. What are you talking about white privilege, bro? This is why she should be banned from the league. They always run.
It states here, Reebok is reportedly dropping their endorsement for Dijonai Carrington after she attacked Sophie Cunningham. Let's go.
DJ Carrington just watched her entire career start to unravel in the span of 1 week. And the wildest part is she did almost all of the damage to herself. This isn't a story about a referee making a bad call or a league targeting one player unfairly. This is a story about a hard foul that could have blown over in a single news cycle music, and then somehow turned into a full-blown reputation crisis because of the choices Carrington made in the hours and days right after it happened.
When this young lady got ejected from a WNBA game the other day for a flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham, did y'all see that? She got ejected from the game for that flagrant foul right there, and I'll be damned if that wasn't a flagrant too. She mugged her. Damn near came across like decapitating her, for crying out loud. That was definitely a hard foul. Make no mistake about it. Nobody can argue about it. You can say what you want. We know what we saw. No way around it. The Dijonai Carrington foul was clearly unnecessary. It was a flagrant foul penalty too. It was absolutely positively correct call. It was called the flagrant two. That's a flagrant two every single damn time in the NBA and the WNBA.
Late in the first quarter of a nationally televised game between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever, Sophie Cunningham took off on a fast break for what should have been an easy layup. Instead, DJ Carrington came from behind and caught her across the head and neck, sending Cunningham crashing to the floor. Officials reviewed it, and the call got upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty, 2, the kind reserved for contact the league considers unnecessary and music excessive. Carrington was ejected on the spot, and the broadcast cameras caught music, her walking off with a face that suggested she already knew this one was going to follow her around for a music
room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouls her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. Dijonai, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not it.
Wrong one almost instantly. Minutes after being escorted off the court, before she'd even reached the locker room, she posted white privilege on social media and tagged the Fever directly. No context, no explanation, just 2 loaded words thrown out into a national controversy that already had Cunningham's name attached to it from an unrelated story about transgender athletes in women's sports. Carrington then followed it up by posting the date of the next Sky Fever matchup with a smiley face emoji, which read to a lot of people less like an accident and more like someone poking the bear on purpose. Next voice, next voice. Think about the optics of that sequence for a second. A player gets ejected for a flagrant foul, and instead of taking a breath, she immediately reaches for one of the most loaded phrases in the modern cultural conversation and fires it off with zero explanation. Whatever she actually meant by it, and she'd go on to give 3 different answers about that in the days that followed, the first impression it left on millions of people was that she was suggesting the officiating crew punished her because of race. That's an enormous accusation to make, even implicitly. And once it's out there, you can't fully take it back, no matter how you try to explain it afterwards.
Say that this is black privilege, to be totally honest with you, because her posting this white racist comment right after assaulting Sophie Cunningham on the court is actually black privilege, because she knows the WNBA won't do a single thing of significance about it. And imagine if the roles were reversed. If Sophie made a comment similar to this, then she'd likely never play again. And actually, we just saw this from Coach Sandy Brondello. She got disciplined for making, I believe, a pretty innocent, maybe, offhand comment about talking about Angel Reese and saying that she's a protected species. She was suspended and disciplined. And I think if that's the standard, then Dijonai should be too.
That post did not stay contained. It ripped across basketball social media within hours, and it stopped being a story about a hard foul and turned into a story about race intent and whether Carrington was using a serious phrase to cover for a dirty play. This is the part where her whole situation started spiraling, because instead of the conversation being about a flagrant foul that could happen to anyone, it became about whether Dijonai Carrington had just accused the officiating crew and by extension the league of bias with zero evidence to back it up. National outlets picked it up. Sports talk shows debated it the next morning.
I was wondering, is this all some sort of bizarre PR strategy to attract eyeballs, or is the WNBA fundamentally broken?
No. That's you, because you're a good person trying to find some kind of rational reason for doing this other than what it is. It's pure and simple racism and hate. They're mad that the best player in the league is a heterosexual white woman. Let's just be honest. She's not one of the confidants in their creed. And so therefore it's been a concentrated effort to go after her. Even her head coach doesn't stand by. So, and I think it's hilarious, and at the same time, they don't know what a woman is. And I'm very proud of Freedom and the other gentlemen for finding out who they are. And I wish them the best. And hopefully the league will, since it's an all tolerant league and their head coaches wear shirts about trans women count. Well, here's two. And I hope they give them their opportunity, and the young lady in France as well. So I think it's a league that has got away with being racist and disgusting to people, and now they're Americans are smart to it. So hopefully they get some of their own, but I wouldn't let my daughters watch it.
Then the backlash found a face. Former NFL player and media personality Emmanuel Aiko went on his own show and torched the post directly. You hit her in the head. You caused bleeding. You didn't touch the ball at all. AO said, calling it very ignorant and in music, his words asinine to frame that specific foul as a product of white privilege. That's a heavyweight in sports media on camera, using words like ignorant and asinine about a WNBA player days after her ejection. That's not a random internet troll. That's someone with a real platform putting Carrington's judgment on trial in front of a massive audience. And once a clip like that starts circulating, it becomes the soundbite that follows a player around far longer than the original foul ever would have on its own. And here's where Dijonai Carrington tried to backtrack, except the way she did it made things worse instead of better. Rather than clarifying her original post calmly, she fired back at Aiko directly on X, writing, "I've never once claimed that the assessment of the foul was white privilege. That was your assumption. Try exercising your critical thinking skills. I know you studied psych." She kept going.
To what Dijonai Carrington did to Sophie Cunningham, it was not a race-based decision. And to call that a white privilege-based foul is to completely undermine the term of white privilege and to also completely ignore the rules in basketball. You hit her in the head, you drew blood, you didn't connect with the ball at all whatsoever. So to me, it was just very ignorant and to some degree asinine by Dijonai Carrington to suggest that that call was based on white privilege. Have we seen examples of white players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. Have we seen examples of black players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. There was no white privilege involved in that specific call. Dijonai, you hit her in the head and you drew blood.
Adding that she was the last thing from ignorant on the subject, name-dropping her education at Stanford and insisting she'd never use a phrase like that as what she called a rhetorical weapon without evidence behind it. She's simultaneously claiming she never meant it that way, while also defending her right to use the phrase and mocking the guy who criticized her. That's not clarity. That's confusion dressed up as confidence. And it left almost nobody satisfied. Music, not the people defending her and not the people going after her. If anything, it added a second controversy on top of the first one, because now the story wasn't just about the original post. It was about how combative and unclear her response to basic criticism had been. Fans who might have given her the benefit of the doubt music, after the foul itself, started souring on her here in this exact exchange, because it read less like someone correcting a misunderstanding and more like someone trying to win an argument. She'd already lost the moment she hit send on the first post.